I interviewed the author and movie maker Dinesh D'Souza. He has a new book coming out called The Big Lie, Exposing the Nazi Roots of the American Left. Provocative, obviously. Exposing the Nazi roots of the American left. So I chatted with him for the upcoming issue of the Limbaugh letter, and what he said, he gave 3 examples of how his book is true, how the allegation here that the Nazis were able to take cues from the American left. And I wanted to share them with you as a prelude to getting into all the rest of the content on today's program. There are 3 bites here. They run just about a minute each. And we've edited this for time. You'll have to read the entire interview when it comes out, the next issue of the Limbaugh letter. But the first claim that D'Souza makes, and by the way, to back this up, we need to point out that militant Islam has also deep ties to Hitler and Nazism. Hitler had an appreciation and understanding for Islam, and there are numerous bits of evidence that recount meetings between major mufti and mullahs and Hitler during World War II. These are things that it's not said in polite society. It's not alleged. And what D'Souza is doing, and then he's in the process of making a movie about this as well, that he hopes will be ready. Well, he said it's going to be ready next summer, into next September, as a prelude to the election. His first contention, again, that there are basically 3 examples of the Nazis, the German Nazis, adopting leftist ideas from the American Democratic Party. I'll tell you why he decided to do this. He's like everybody else in the right wing, fed up with the allegation that racism and all this has its home in the Republican Party. It's the exact opposite. Racism, segregation, all of this. These were all Democrats back in the 1960s who were trying to violate civil rights and keep blacks out of universities. All those governors and Bull Connor, the police chief, turning the fire hoses on African-American protesters and Martin Luther King. These are all Democrats. And D'Souza is, like many people on the right, frustrated with this history revisionism. So he decided to write the book and do a movie about how it's even worse than that. And his first example here is how Hitler stole from the Jacksonian Democrats of the 19th century.
Hitler remembered that in the 19th century, the Jacksonian Democrats, despite the existence of all these treaties with the American Indians, essentially decided to violate the treaties, throw the Indians off their land, drive them further west, so displace them, resettle that land, and if any of the Indians remained, either kill them or attempt to enslave them. And so Hitler goes, this is a fantastic idea. I don't need to go to India like the British. I'll just conquer in Europe. I'll throw the Poles off their land, the Slavs, the Eastern Europeans, the Russians. We'll resettle that land with German families, and if any of the natives stay back, we'll enslave them. So this notion, the historians call it Lebensraum, which means living space, but it's basically German expansion in Europe. Hitler got the idea to do that from the Jacksonian Democrats of the 19th century.
As we talked to him, I said, wait, is this just your interpretation? Are you looking at events that happened in America in the 19th century and then comparing events that happened in Europe in the 1940s? Are you drawing a connection? No. The Nazis acknowledged this, he said. The historical record is clear. The Nazis acknowledged where they, quote-unquote, learned this stuff. And his point here was that when he saw how the Jacksonian Democrats dealt with Indians, Native Americans, throwing them on the reservation, throwing them off, basically getting them out of mainstream circulation, say, hey, this is a great idea.